Boxing this week, 47. You've read the title, seen the thumbnail. That sucked. That's kind of the only way we can really put it. It was dreadful. From Canelo to... do you know what? No, Inoue saved it at the end. There was a highlight. But from Canelo to Ryan Garcia to Devin Haney, just shit. I mean, we're not even a minute in, but we're gonna swear. It was shit. It was genuinely the most disappointing fight week I think I've watched.
Connor's just decided already we're not. If we are, because we're going to monetize from it, we're not now. But
nope.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was so bad. For the people who stayed up and paid for those events, like myself, I feel very bad for you and me because that was 60 quid for the weekend. They did like a little package, 60 quid. Oh, you can get it, or like 50 quid, and you can get all three events, whatever. And you got the Times Square event, which I don't think even looked good to do outside. I don't think that made sense. And then they did the Canelo event, and then they did the Inoue event in Vegas. And I'm telling you, all the events were rubbish, but Inoue's fight was good. Yeah, I don't know. I just started ranting there, but like, look, we'll start on the normal terms. First of all, obviously, we're joined by Paolo, who I've not really let speak yet. That's just typical. I've got angry. I was remembering the fight and I got angry. But I think we're kind of all of the same opinion.
Do you know what, Connor? What? I'm going to say this on the stream without going into detail. I don't think you could be as angry as I was today, but that's a story for another day. So
that's true.
To be honest with you, the boxing was not what it lived up to. Inoue fight, I did enjoy watching that.
Yeah, true.
Good fight. Card on Friday was disappointing, in my opinion. Obviously, Teo fought very well, but the overall card, individually, there was good fights because we got a lot of comments when we put the TikToks and YouTubes up, the shorts, saying that Teo's fight was good on Friday. And they thought, obviously, the Canelo fight. Some mixed, divided opinion about Canelo fight, but some people said it was good. Listen, man. At the end of the day, I'll go to the first one. Teo boxed really well, done what he needed to do. Just outboxed Barboza.
Yeah. Let's start with that. That was the first fight. Let's go.
So what I was going to say was, overall, the cards were terrible because the problem is you've had such a big card, Conor Benn and Eubank, the week before. Top to bottom, people enjoyed it. And I go back to the point of saying that not every single card, unfortunately, is going to fit or live up to the last one or be as good as it. Just in combat sports, it doesn't happen. Yeah.
So
there's going to be diverse opinion on some. There's going to be some cards that people didn't enjoy. There's going to be other cards that people enjoyed. Nevertheless, I think that individually there were some good fights there. Obviously, we're going to start talking about Teo and Barboza, but individually there was good fights. But as a card, stinker from the weekend, top to bottom, Friday to Saturday, Sunday. See me. I just mentioned Inoue fight, brilliant. Saturday, what's the highlight fight? Some people might say Munguia fight. Some people might say that they were all. I mean, the best of the worst bunch, but Canelo fight, it wasn't really Canelo's fault. It went like that. You had a guy who didn't really want to engage. And then Friday, the Garcia fight, and we're going to talk about it, but that card, individually there was good fights, but as a card, stinker.
Yeah, like, some fighters did well. Like, we'll talk about it. We'll just go through it one by one. Teofimo Lopez was brilliant against Barboza Jr. I don't know what happened to Barboza Jr.
He might have been fighting a more but what level? Because the thing is, we judge Barboza off of Catterall, tough opponent Catterall, but then if Teo's done that to Barboza in the fashion that he done that, and then you look at what Barboza done to Catterall, and then you look at what Catterall's done to Taylor, but then you look at what Teofimo's done to Taylor. What level are we putting compared to obviously Teo's these guys? What level do we think that the British fighters are at? Because that's what we would have formed an opinion of. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So what level are they at in that division in comparison to the likes of the Teos, the Devins, or whoever it may be? Are they down here compared to, the American counterpart?
tonight is tough. I really thought Barboza would be too much for Teofimo.
Write in the comments as well. You can join the convo by this link.
Yeah,
because people just see the link and.
I thought Barboza would be too much. In the Catterall fight, we saw quite an active fighter. I mean, his chin is got a good chin. He's fairly active. He just had no idea how to catch Teo. It could be a speed thing. Catterall's not quite as quick. I do think Catterall versus Lopez is a much better fight. I do think that's quite competitive. But I'm just surprised that Barboza Jr. I mean, he could barely land on Teo. He was trying to almost counterpunch, but counterpunch from the center of the ring. It's very weird. Very weird. I don't know who did his game plan or if he went off of his game plan. It felt like he didn't know what was going on, which, again, it led to a disappointing fight. Like, Teofimo Lopez was brilliant, but it's the first fight of the night that really everyone's watching. I know there were others, but they weren't the fights we were watching, really. Let's be honest. So it's the first fight of the night, and Barboza Jr. was not that good, or he's very underwhelming to what we thought he'd be. Teofimo Lopez brilliant, Barboza was not. So it's not a good tone for the night. We'll talk about future matchups in a second, actually, because I think it's best to probably get through the first three fights.
Write that thing in the comments as well, Connor.
The link?
Like, click the link, otherwise people are not going to know.
Oh, yeah. Then we've got Haney-Ramirez. I'll let you talk about that once I do this typing, but it's a weird fight.
Yeah, weird fight. But for me, I thought Haney, again, it really, like, I can't really give. Haney boxed well. In my opinion, I was watching the fight. I think it was an expected result. It was unanimous, wasn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, like, that was a fight we expected Haney to come out of, and he come out of it. So, you know, he's had his fight back now. Ramirez is a tough opponent, by the way. But it was just one. It was, like, in my opinion, it was what we perceived that fight to be is what happened with Haney and Ramirez. So, you know, I thought Ramirez boxed well, but I just think Haney was just compared to him a different gear on the night, just overall in the fight.
Yeah,
really, there's not really much else to say about it. Like, to be honest with you, that is it. I mean, he's done everything we expected him to do. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. We know what Haney is. We know what Haney does. We know the talent that he brings, and obviously how good he is to every fight. But he won. Like, do you know what I mean? Without sounding like a casual there, like, it really isn't much else to say about that.
Yeah, I think people are being too negative on Devin Haney. I wouldn't. It wasn't a good fight. There was no. I'm not saying that it was. It was not. You know, at 2:30 in the morning. That's not the kind of fight I want to watch. But he won. He barely got hit, and there's not a person on the planet that thinks he didn't win. So
done his job.
You can argue, yeah, exactly, done his job. And really, when you look at it, the first fight back from that Ryan Garcia fight, and it's a tough fight against Ramirez, he doesn't want to engage. He's also probably got in his head, my next fight is Ryan Garcia. I don't want to get hurt or cut or anything like that. So I'm just going to do my thing. The only disappointment for me was that I actually think Haney at welterweight is going to hurt people. I don't think he's got pillow fists anymore at this weight. He looks hydrated. He looks strong. He looks massive. He's quick. He's like, if you watch, not that anyone does this, nor do I, but you know when you see a fly and it goes from one side of the room to the other and you don't know how, that's Devin Haney. I've never seen, like, he was almost too quick for himself. He was moving around the ring, I think, faster than he knew that he could. Ridiculous. But yeah, I wish he traded a bit more. It was boring. But
do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, though? I think any boxers that are watching this will probably, you know, on the offset of hearing that, like, because that's what people's general opinions were. You know, the fans are the hardest to please when it comes to a fight. But I think this is when I spoke to Bradley Skeet. Yeah, specifically when I spoke to him about obviously his coaching and everything else. And ultimately, he'll have a job, as in, like, he's talking about coaching and boxing, and your corner going to have a job, the boxer's going to have a job. As much as you've got fighters in there that will entertain a crowd, where Haney's just come off of a year layoff.
Yeah.
He needs to get back into contention quick. There's big fights for him out there. The most important thing for him and his corner will be for him to win the fight and win it the way that they would have trained for. And I believe that's probably what they've done. To the eye pleasing to the audience, to some, to the boxing fans maybe. But then we also can look at it from a point of view, the casuals who make up for a big sort of proportion of like the boxing fans, especially when it comes to Garcia being on the card. And people might have looked at that fight and gone, they didn't enjoy it because of the exchanges or the lack of exchanges. But at the end of the day, Haney's gone in. He's not really got hit. He's won by unanimous decision. He landed more punches. So it's a great fight for him in his corner. But for the fans watching, I can understand. But I think as well, as boxing fans, you can't sit there and expect two fighters to meet in the middle every fight and take lumps out of each other. It's just not smart. The problem you've got is there is that side of it, and then there's a side that the promoters will have a job, the TV companies will have a job, and they'll probably want the opposite. Everyone last week that watched Conor Benn and Eubank watched it and said, "What a fight! Amazing fight!" But both fighters got hit too much. They couldn't do 3 of those fights in a year. Their boxing career would be over in 2-3 years. No one's trying to get hit like that. Do you know what I mean? We go back to the likes of Floyd. Talk about Floyd. The guy was arguably, I couldn't tell you when his prime was, because at 38, 39 years old, he was beating people up. 40, he was beating people up. 40 people couldn't touch him. So it's like
multiple primes, didn't he?
It's like he's come out with minimal injuries. I think the biggest injury that he sustained in his career was probably his hand.
Yeah.
His hands. I think there was some issues as he got older that if he'd carried on, there was a risk, obviously, with injuries to the brain and stuff like that. But as you get older, it's any fighter, any age that can happen. But we will call Floyd one of the best fighters of all time. Some would say he's the greatest. Some would say one of the best. Whatever way you look at it. But he didn't really get hit a lot. So, and he was a great counter puncher. And he didn't really get hit a lot. So we can't expect them fights every week. The likes of the Conor Benn and Eubanks. It's just not possible. It's unrealistic. And you're not going to see it every week. There's fighters that will spend 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks working on a specific game plan to win a fight. And that will be, you don't look for the knockout. You box. And if the knockout comes, it comes. I feel like when you go and look for a knockout, your game plan can go out the window. And it can go against you sometimes, and you can be more susceptible to getting knocked out when you're looking for it too much. So in that sense, to summarize, obviously, Haney done what he needed to do, in and out. I don't know where he goes from here, because I know we can go into it because people want us to, is the Rolly Romero and Garcia fight before we go into that. Where does Haney go from here? Because we just talk about the Garcia-Romero fight first. Rolly first, and then we can talk about where Haney and Garcia go. But that leads on to us talking about Garcia and Rolly.
Yeah. Garcia looked like, let's just say it, he looked like a man that should be on drugs that's not on drugs anymore.
Lack of ostarine in his body has massively, we're talking about an actually convicted drug cheat. Whatever way you look at it, it's a convicted drug cheat. It doesn't matter if there was 0.3, 0.4 in his system. Yeah,
it was in his. He got banned. He got banned for a year. He's come back.
He got found in his system. It come out. The results come out. It wasn't like Conor Benn's. Conor Benn's was disproved by the board, so it wasn't. Regardless of what people look at, he wasn't actually found guilty, or they said that this was in your system. Do you get it?
That's how you know you're guilty. When you're one of the biggest stars in the sport, and you still have to serve a ban. That's when you know you're guilty. Canelo didn't serve a ban. Tyson Fury didn't serve a ban.
Tyson Fury's was different.
Was it recreational?
recreational. It wasn't performance enhancing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he had a problem with cocaine. Cocaine. I don't want to, but I'm sure it was something to do with cocaine and something to do with alcohol.
But the point is, there's a lot of fighters that get done for drugs and they don't serve bans because they get away with it.
Yeah,
so the fact Garcia did not get away with it, to me, just like, well, we know he cheated.
And by the way, I don't think the ban that he had was long enough.
No, not for somebody that missed weight. He could have killed Haney, like, realistically.
Straight back onto a Saudi card in a big fight.
Yeah, as if nothing's happened. Yeah,
and you can see the difference when you talk about, and we'll clip some of the video footage in the shorts of Garcia fighting. But in this fight, he just looked like a man whose body was fiending for Ostory.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Ryan Garcia looked slow. His reactions were slow. His left hook, the world's best left hook, anyone could see it coming. Like Rolly Romero did his job. That's not to take away from the fact Romero completely upset everyone, ruined the plans for Haney Garcia too. As now a 2-weight world champion, like Romero is done brilliant things.
And Romero's been in the mud. Like he lost a couple fights, come back, and he's at the top of the world again. My point as well is what I like about boxing is look, it's not his fault, but Floyd created this perception that you lose your row and you're done.
Yeah, and we're getting away from that now.
No, we are. We are getting away with it, and it's good because you're talking about a one-off fighter, an anomaly in boxing, in my opinion. That you might not see that for a little while again, because look, at the end of the day, Terence is fighting Canelo, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But the point I'm making is one of their records. Canelo's lost before, but Terence could lose. So, so my point being is that Floyd is an anomaly in boxing. There's a couple of fighters like him. Let's not forget. We always talk about Floyd. Let's talk about Calzaghe and all these guys that kept their own. It's an amazing thing. I'm not going to lie to you. It's an amazing thing, but it's unrealistic in the day and age now where we want to see fights 3-4 times a year, and that pressure for a fighter to keep their own. If they lose a fight, so what?
Exactly. Someone has to. There's two people. Someone's got to lose. And do you know what the worst situation would be? Is a draw. So, I don't know if it's the worst, but it's the most boring. I can't believe the difference in Ryan Garcia because we've seen him fight before, and now I'm just like, well, this guy was just massive. He was just cutting weight to an extent that he could do when he was young, like 20, 21. And now that he's a bit older, his body can't cut that weight anymore. So he's now got to a point where he's gone against Haney, had to cheat. So he didn't cut the weight and took Osterine and had everything going through his body. This time round, he's had to cut the weight and he's not on anything. And he looks shit. He looks so bad. He didn't even look like he wanted to be there. Let's be honest. From the first bell, he didn't look like he wanted to be there. I think the comparison between that and the Haney fight week, I mean, it will get lost in history, this, but Ryan Garcia, I mean, everyone remember now, but eventually it will be lost in history, I think. Ryan Garcia was mental. Before that fight, everyone was saying, we think Ryan Garcia needs to be probably pulled out of this fight. He is off his tits on something.
He went through a period, and I think he spoke about it on the Ring podcast before their fight, where you had Teo Barboza. I actually would advise people to watch that because that's one of the funniest things I've watched. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. But he spoke about it and he said he had a problem with alcohol and stuff like that. And that isn't nice to see for anyone. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Listen, look, at the end of the day, we talk about boxing, but it's a big thing on mental health. If it was external factors that caused him or drove him to do these things, he had a problem with alcohol, etc., that is something that I can kind of relate to, not with myself, but with family and stuff. So I get it. It's something that, is a serious topic, by the way, to note, because I always think when you're talking about these things, you've got to be careful, Connor. And it's a serious topic to note that alcoholism is a very real thing. But take that aside, he took performance-enhancing drugs against Haney. He beat Haney, that power. I remember the Ryan Garcia we're talking about years ago, the internet sensation, the Flash, Kid Flash, they were calling him.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, yeah, I don't know how much DC you watch, but in a multiverse of Flashes, there's a episode where you get the older Flash who can't really run anymore. That is Garcia. He ain't quick like he used to be. He's lost his speed.
Yeah.
You get it? And
but is that the weight? I mean, obviously, something went seriously wrong.
We spoke about this before. What was he fighting at? 147?
What? So welterweight this week, yeah, against Romero, yeah.
So before he was fighting, he fought Garcia. He fought Gervonta Davis. It was 135 to 140 with a rehydration clause, right?
Yeah.
They said that he struggled from that and he was too big for that weight. So what is it? Like what we doing?
That's the problem. He fought Haney at 140 and didn't make weight. And he came in at 144 or whatever it was, 143. He came in big. He did not cut weight, and Haney looked like he was about to just fall apart on the scales. So then you go, all right, well, now you're at welterweight, so you've got 7 more pounds. You came in at 146 point something. Cut, which seems to everybody watching, everyone that, you know, if you watch the weigh-ins a lot, that's a really good weight cut. And he looked slow. He looked too big. He wasn't. Normally, Garcia comes into the ring. He's quite ripped. He's quite lean.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to be bigger, obviously, because he is bigger. But I don't know. He looked really sluggish. I was disappointed.
Do you know
he didn't want to be there.
Do you know what's mad? When you actually think about the trajectory of the career Ryan Garcia has had, 1 second. So when you think about the trajectory that he's had, he went pro at the age of 17.
Mm.
And obviously from that point, he started to build his name, big star. He's 26 now. But he could be a case of one of these fighters as well that they've peaked really early and they, you know, by the time they're 30, that is it for them. The span for male fighters at welterweight, because obviously you've got the female fighters and stuff like that. And I actually think with female boxing, a lot of the weights, I think their span on their careers can go into their late 30s. A lot of them, you know. So, but it's interesting because there's a science behind it, right? And with the welterweight men, like there isn't to stay at the top level into your 30s. You know, can be very difficult unless you're cream of the crop top. Which I wouldn't say. You know, Ryan Garcia had talent, but is he going to also be one of these fighters who was always known to have the talent but never quite done what was he expected to do? Because a minute ago we was just talking in the same breath that people can lose and come back, right? Yeah. The problem Garcia's got is he's lost this fight, probably sacrificed. He's not going to. I doubt the Devin Haney rematch. The Devin Haney rematch doesn't make any sense right now. I don't think Garcia is going to take it because he'd be stupid to take it at the moment. Got Haney coming off a win, Garcia coming off a loss. Does Garcia have a tune-up fight in between to build himself back up for the fight? You know, there's so many questions. It's mad that he got in with someone like Rolly off a year layoff because I know Rolly come off a sort of a lot, like he's had his up and down career, but that's a tough fight to come back in off a year layoff.
It is, but I think it is a tough fight. But when you look at who Rolly's been beaten by, Rolly isn't or has never been the top fighter.
But you say, like,
Gervonta Davis and Isaac Cruz beat Rolly Romero. So in my head,
but
Ryan Garcia should. Pardon?
Rolly's moved up though, isn't it?
Yeah. Rolly at welterweight's a different thing. He looks huge. He's a bit of a tank, but also he looks huge, but he didn't look that quick. And I don't like he is now a world champion again, and he's now he's set himself up for some huge fights. Whether that's Haney, whether that's Garcia again, whether that's Jaron Ennis, whether that's Conor Benn, who knows? But Rolly Romero is now sat there with 5 contracts in front of him, and he can just pick whichever one he wants. Realistically, he's the world champion, and not just that, he's a big name as well. So, very for him, I'm very happy for him because he seems like a really good guy, funny as hell. But equally, he didn't look amazing. He was better than Garcia on the night. Garcia, for me, it was more how bad Garcia was.
I hear it, but sometimes that work where you don't look amazing, but you get the job done. Sometimes you've got to take each fight as it is, right? He's in there with Garcia, who before the fight, it's a dangerous fight for him. He's got to be cautious on certain things.
Yeah.
Probably realised things during the fight, things that he can do, things that he thought he couldn't do that he can do, because Garcia is allowing him to do it. So you're changing your game plan during the fight. That might have been a thing as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I feel like yes, people may argue it wasn't the best performance. I mean, I can't believe saying this because what he done to Garcia, but he done what a lot of fighters haven't done to Garcia. Yes, Garcia was slower, but his game plan was to win. The thing is, regardless of how he won the fight, you're right. Like you said, he's got 5 contracts in front of him now, picking from whoever he wants.
Yeah.
So really and truly, in 3-4 months' time, is he going to, he'll work on things for his next fight, but is he going to dwell on too much on how he's beat Garcia?
No, and he shouldn't.
In the next training camp to make improvements, but until that point, is he going to care? Should he care? No,
he absolutely shouldn't. I'm not saying that he should. I'm really just trying to emphasize the point of how bad Garcia was.
Yeah.
Like, of all the fighters that night, Teo looked his best for probably since the Lomachenko fight. Barboza looked slow. Haney looked really fresh, but almost like he didn't know what he was doing, as if there was no real game plan, but he won, so can't knock him. Defensively, it was probably his best performance, or one of his ever. Jose Ramirez looked every bit of his age. Ryan Garcia looked like a man that's not on PEDs anymore. And Rolly Romero did the job. So I'm not knocking Romero, but it was, I think, do you know what it doesn't help is when you've got an undercard or a co-main event or whatever, co-card, whatever, that also is not very good. And then you get to the Ryan Garcia fight. And I think I speak for everyone when I say Garcia-Romero was the most exciting fight for that night. And it was disappointing. It was a long 12 rounds.
I agree.
And another slight issue I've got with it is Garcia getting put down with the same punch that Tank put him down with in round 2 again. You know, I know things repeat themselves. Dillian White uppercuts. Everyone knows it. Some things like that, it's just the way it is. But it worries me that 3 years later, or 3 years later, 4 years later, Garcia's getting put down in the same round by the same punch in the same sequence. It doesn't show a lot of improvement.
Predictable in that he's boxing because do you know what it is? He's telling people what he's doing before the fight, and he's how he's demonstrating it in the fight.
Yeah.
So is he becoming too predictable? Does he talk too much before the fight?
I think so. Well, I mean, let's look at it. Ryan Garcia. Let's look at like what he can actually do. Is he great at feinting a punch? He's all right. Is his footwork good? It's okay. He's fairly quick. Does he have a good straight right hand that will knock you out? Not really. Does he have a great right hook? Not really. Does he have really good body work? If it's not a left hook, not really. Is his jab going to take him around the world? Not really. It's his left hook. That's what he's got. And it doesn't feel like, whether any coach has told him to or not, it feels like every coach that Ryan Garcia's had has said, this is the best left hook in the world. And that's great. That's amazing. But that is one punch. And also it's one punch, but it's not a punch. It's a punch that a jab, you can jab from anywhere, really, unless you're really tight. But even then you can step back and jab. A straight right hand can come from there, or just a straight left hand, straight right hand, whatever. A left hook, you need to set it up. And Garcia, I think people can read it. I think when he was against Haney and he was on PEDs and he was so much heavier and like he was just natural weight and on PEDs, Haney couldn't read it because nobody can read it because that was ridiculous. That was inhuman rather. Whereas now that he's human again, I think we're watching a fighter that is experiencing what happens when you get to turn pro too early and maybe get fame too quick and realize, shit, I maybe haven't worked as hard as I should have. Maybe I'm chatting shit, but I think things have come very easy to Ryan Garcia. I think as an amateur, he worked hard. He did brilliant, and he won his Golden Boys, Golden what he did like 3 times or whatever in the American amateurs. Highly impressive. But we're also talking about a guy that's never been a world champion, by the way. Like I'm on a bit of a rant now, but do you know what? I think it's justified. He's completely an enigma in this sport where he's not a world champion, yet he's one of the biggest names. People after the Haney fight, before the drug stuffer came out, had him in their pound for pound list.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, not impressive. I don't know if you could tell. I'm not impressed. But
before we move on,
yeah.
You hear that, yeah?
Yeah.
Pull over, please. Show me your license. It's the pause police. I need to speak to you about a live last week because we've been clipping this and I've done that. Just very quickly before we move on, I need some clarity before I put this short out on your Michael Buffer comment because I wasn't there for the stream. But I'm gonna tell you now. Pause. What we just need. You know, we're going to have to bleep it out, but you said, I'm not a millionaire. Michael Buffer's got $1 million. He would, me.
Yeah. So
we need some clarity on that before we carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. It's 4 a.m. He's announcing Canelo. I'm doing the intro with Michael Buffer at the same time. Then I remember that technically you get sued £1 million if you do his Let's Get Ready to Rumble. So then I say something along the lines of, he's going to sue me for £1 million. I don't have £1 million. Oh, shit. Michael's gonna. Yeah. In the context, I don't think it's that bad because it's a different kind of fucking.
We'll let the people decide in the comments when this goes up.
Hopefully the people are nice.
Fair, I thought it was better that we have 2 sides to this court case and we allow you to do that.
Court case.
If I just put the comment out there, can you obviously be great for us, but can you imagine the questions? There'd be people creeping out. Brighton might then learn what pause is. That's all I'm saying to you. But sorry, yes, carry on. I just had to pull you over. I've checked, I've given you a fine, and that is the final decision. So we will be able to move on now.
Cool.
6 points for that. You get 12 in a year. Any more, we're gonna have to do a dare. No, we won't, because I owe you one for the. You still got to come back to me about the drink thing.
Sure.
We'll let Connor decide. I've been waiting for time for this, but he just keeps forgetting, which is no problem for me.
I'll remember. Hold on. Let me write it down. Let me write this shit down right now. Let me write this shit down.
Swear count 4 times today, Connor.
Pardon? Right, hold on. It's that. Right. I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember. Canelo, William Scull. I don't want to keep ranting, but again, disappointing. Anyone saying that Canelo did well is, I don't get that.
No, but I think just to add very quickly, I think he done what he could do in a fight where his opponent was running for rounds and rounds and not engaging.
Yeah, I get that side
in that fight.
I don't know. So I can't.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and say that Canelo could have done more. I just
walking him
feel
down. Later rounds anyway.
Yeah, he was trying. He was trying. In fairness, it's a weird one. Yeah. I don't really go with the narrative that William Scull was there just for a payday. I think he was trying to win.
But I think no. I agree, but I think too many times, he was sort of moving around the outside, not really engaging. But then occasionally, in his defense, he would come in and then he'd try a combo on Canelo, but then he'd go back out again and he'd carry on going around the ring. He wasn't just running, but running's a mad word to use, actually. He was not engaging for large parts of the fight, but then there was times where he'd be moving around on the outside, moving around, Canelo's walking him down, and then he'd come in and he'd try and throw a combo. Maybe that was his plan. It didn't work.
I think the commentators were harsh. They were saying about how he was just there for a payday and he wasn't trying to win.
But our commentators have been poor as of recent. Is this the Zone you watched it on as well?
Yeah, the Zone.
The
Yeah,
Zone commentators have been poor recently. I'll be real with you.
they have. No, they have. They have. But I don't. So I don't agree with that. Like I think I think William Scull's game plan was I am faster than Canelo, and he is. Footwork is way superior. In fairness, I mean it's Cuban style. It makes sense, but so I think he wanted to come engage, like just hit and move. But he didn't hit enough. I really think, by the way, I think Canelo won every single round. I think it was 12-0. I don't give William Scull a round, but maybe round 8. But even then, 11 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever. I do think William Scull could have tipped a lot of those rounds easily. I'm talking coming and hitting a bit more, like 1 or 2 more times. The only difference is if he does that, he'll get hit more to the body. If he gets hit more to the body, he slows down faster, and then Canelo maybe tracks him down in the later round. So potentially he was never going to win the fight. It's just it's a little disappointing the way it went. I don't know if there's much more to say about it.
No. I'll be honest with you. I will say one thing, because it's one of them. Like at the end of the day, I think who was commentating on that, by the way, because I didn't stay up to highlights. But
Mike Coppinger and someone else were really bad. Mike Coppinger was normally all right. He was really not good on the weekend. They're Jim Langley on the Friday one. They brought him back, an American guy. He was funny, but I don't know if he was good. I don't know. He was entertaining.
Just out of curiosity, how many of these guys have boxed? I haven't heard of them. That's all.
No, I don't think any. Mike Coppinger is.
I'm genuinely asking because, okay, look, everyone can have an opinion. We can have an opinion. Yeah, we don't box to that level at all, so we can have an opinion.
I'd rather hear a boxer talk about it.
I would have rather on a fight like that at least had one boxer on the panel of.
Yeah, I'm thinking Darren Barker might have been on there.
Darren Barker's good. I like Darren Barker. I like
Darren Barker's really good.
Respected in boxing. But we talk about the other 2 guys. I'd just be interested to know who said the comment about him running, because it's very easy. What's that?
All the commentators were saying it. All of them. Okay. They were bad.
If Darren Barker was saying that, I'm quite surprised. But look, it's very easy to say Scull come for a payday, but no one gets willingly in the ring with Canelo for 12 rounds, thinking that that there's a possibility that they might get knocked out or knocked down or hurt badly. I just still think that no one is stupid enough to do that with Canelo for 12 rounds if they didn't believe that they could win.
Yeah. And you can't fight. You can't fight Canelo. If you go toe to toe with Canelo, it's a long day. I think Golovkin could do it because Golovkin's got the chin and the power. But the way to beat Canelo is outmove him. I mean, we've seen it. Bivol did it. Mayweather did it. I think that's what Crawford's going to try and do. Because if you're sensible, you don't go toe to toe with Canelo. Because the
difference being is, and let's go on to that, because Canelo and Crawford spoke. Was announced after the fight. They've done their face off. We've all been waiting for it. Big moment. Yeah. But Spencer Fearon put a post up that I saw, and I was talking on it. And he was like, "What do you think the result's going to be?" And generically, everyone was kind of saying that Crawford's going to be moving too much for Canelo, and he'll just win and outbox him, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So so here's my thing. Yeah. We watched him against Madrimov. He done well. It was in my opinion, it wasn't a clear, concise fight in terms of he had to work for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Terence, and that was 154, right? Like you said in the last episode, Terence Crawford's had a trajectory where he's moving up the weight slowly, naturally being able to get. Yeah. But we've got to remember, historically, you're judging him of fighting at 147.
Yeah.
Right. So you're judging the Crawford that moves at 147, and you just assume that he's going to move the same at 168. Without seeing him do it, it's ignorant. That's the first.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Second thing is let's not downplay the fact that Canelo probably has one of the best records actively in boxing right now. So you look at the fighters that he's been in the ring with, win or lose, he's learned something from everyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So in that sense, when we talk about what Terence Crawford's done in boxing, let's talk about what Canelo's done in boxing. Let's talk about some of the fighters he's been in there, win or lose. He's been in there with some of the arguably the greatest boxer of all time. You're talking about the best light heavyweight on the planet right now. You're talking about the Oscar. Look at the fights that he's been in previous. He's fought Amir Khan, one of Britain's best, knocked him out. Across generations, go and look at his record. It's mental. Are we even downplaying it? Off the top of my head, some other names Canelo's fought. Fought Oscar, right?
That's what, De La Hoya?
Did they ever make that fight or not?
No,
they didn't. No,
so.
He might have been too young.
But you got Golovkin three times. You got Plant. You got Plant, Smith, Khan, Liam Smith, Callum Smith, Bivol, Mayweather, Maidana. I feel like he fought Maidana. Kovalev at 175, which he won. Geez. I mean, there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah, I don't want to drag on.
There's
loads of them. Let's kind of bring the list up off the top of my head, because I was looking at this earlier on. It's mental. When you actually look at his record across, different generations of boxing.
Berlanga, Munguia, Charlo, Golovkin, Bivol, Plant, Saunders, Smith, Kovalev, Golovkin, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Liam Smith, Amir Khan, Miguel Cotto, James Kirkland, Erislandy Lara, Floyd, Austin Trout, Shane Mosley, Matthew Hatton. Yeah, it's not quite. And then, Jose Miguel Cotto as well. There's some serious fighters in there. I mean,
and let's have it right. Yeah.
James Kirkland.
When we're talking about Canelo and Crawford, I feel like people are downplaying Canelo because of his age, but realistically, how many people have beaten him bar Bivol and Floyd? None. So what are we doing here? He's older, yes. He's slowed down, obviously, because of age, but he knows how to work with what he's got in terms of he knows that he needs to change his game as he gets older. He's not going to be a walk in the park. And also, let's not mention the fact we don't know what Terence looks like at 168. So
that's the big thing.
That his ability. Everyone's judging him off a 147 stroke 154 fighter, but we've seen, yes, there was a rehydration clause with Conor Benn and Eubank, but we saw in that fight the difference in size with two fighters that are not elite, by the way. They're not elite fighters, but the size difference played a part in that fight. Eubank was able to knuckle down, lean on him. He knows how to work with the weight. Does Terence move up to 168 and we're just going to assume that he's going to have the same speed, the same movement? He's going to be as sharp. He might be, he might not. But I'm leaning towards more the science behind it. And I'm saying he might slow down for this. Is that going to work in Canelo's favor? It's well and good saying Terence is an amazing boxer because he is one of the best unreal. But he's moving up from 147. He's had one fight at 154. He's going to 168. Super middle, not middleweight. Super
168. Yeah. This is a great point. At 147, Terence Crawford might be unbeatable. A prime Terence Crawford, at very least, holds his own and gives anyone in history a hard fight, but actually might be unbeatable at welterweight. Against Madrimov, his power. I mean, Madrimov's got a good chin. Definitely. We know that after the Ortiz fight. But Crawford's power didn't seem as snappy. His movement wasn't as quick. You're adding another stone onto that. Another 14 pounds onto that. Just to cut weight. Canelo doesn't get in the ring at 168. Canelo's in the ring at 175, 176. So we're really talking Crawford's got to go up like a 30 pounds from 147. Just to match Canelo's weight. Never mind match his speed. I think anyone saying Crawford's going to win by knockout is crazy. Canelo's never been down. And that's down against natural middleweights in Golovkin. Canelo didn't go down.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we've ever seen Canelo hurt.
You're in it.
So
gone.
Yeah, so Crawford is not going to have that effect. I can't see why Crawford does that. So then you're asking him to outbox him. And I think to outbox Canelo, he needs to be faster than Canelo. And I don't know if he's going to be faster than Canelo if he's put that much weight on.
Yeah.
But if he does do it, he might be the GOAT.
If
he
he
might
does,
be the best
correct.
fight we've ever seen.
We need to put some respect on this fight, but let's also, I'm very well aware of Terence Crawford does. I'm just saying to you, like, realistically, come fight night, what's Terence Crawford going to walk in at?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's going to be lighter. Yeah.
So 168 is the band, right?
Yeah.
Will he come in a bit? Can he come in a bit lighter? Yeah, he can, I suppose. 160 to.
Yeah, of course. He could come in. I think technically as light as he wants.
What does Terence Crawford walk around at on fight night?
That's the. I mean, he gets a lot bigger. We know that he puts a lot of weight on, but he's not. I don't think he's ever touched 170 pounds.
Cool. So we're talking Canelo arguably could walk around at 180?
Potentially. Let's find out. Wait. Canelo in the ring. Wait. Okay, so Canelo scales in after rehydration.
Because this is the thing, we're just finding out now to see what he walks in at.
I mean, okay, so it's not known. It's not something that Team Canelo release.
Yeah.
But Canelo in 2016, that was so long ago. Okay, but this is Canelo in 2016 when he was middleweight champion, so 160. Said he's never got to 180 pounds.
Okay.
But he's been close. So now 168 pounds, he's probably 180.
So we're talking about on fight night, he's going to come in 180 to give clarification to that when you compare it to the fight as of recent, which we've seen Eubank go down weight to fight and then rehydrate, and Conor Benn come in at 164, and people said that against Eubank that was too big. Eubank was bigger than Conor Benn visibly, which was easy to see, right? So let's be honest. Yeah. Like for me, I think there's weight classes for a reason, and that could play a factor in this fight because you compete.
As a bit of an interesting thing, Canelo when he fought Erislandy Lara, that fight was 155 pounds catch weight. Canelo rehydrated to 171, so he gained 16 pounds, and that was 2017, 18, a long time ago. So
my thing is, like, let's look at it from both angles. Both amazing fighters, but I do think, me personally, and I would try to sit in the fence for these fights, but I genuinely think for this fight, weight's going to play a part in it. And for this reason, I think Canelo's going to win.
Yeah, I think so. I can't. If Terence Crawford can beat Canelo at 168 pounds, then Terence Crawford will be, for me, the best fighter that has ever fought. But I can't see that happening. No matter, Terence Crawford is amazing, but the weight is stupid. I would almost say Crawford needs to not put that much weight. He almost needs to be light to win. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, Crawford's had a long layoff since Madrimov, and he's had a long time to put weight on in a sensible way. It's not like we're saying that the fight's in 8 weeks. He's still got 4 months to go before he's stepping in the ring. So there's time, but it's a lot of weight. I don't know. Look, we'll cover that obviously more. We'll have all sorts going on for Crawford Canelo. That's going to be, I mean, that's the biggest fight of the year. Dana White is promoting it as well. So his first event or the first TKO Promotions event is Crawford-Canelo or Canelo-Crawford.
Yeah.
Now, the best fight of the weekend. Inoue. American fans, where are you? Because you're wrong already, and Inoue is the GOAT. So round 2 gets caught. Just for anyone that didn't watch it, caught bad. I'm going to say it. He's got a good chin. He just needs to sort himself out when he's coming in, because he likes a fight too much. He's going to lose. I'm saying it now. I think he will lose at some point. Mm-hmm. But in terms of recovery and everything, he got put down by a hard shot and he didn't seem to care. He got straight. He was straight in the room. He knew exactly what was going on. He waited for the 7 or for the 8 count. Got up, carried on. Round 8, obliterated him. Cardenas, cool story, was a Lyft driver, which is like Uber basically, and now he's not that anymore because of the money he's made from this fight. And I think he's going to get some good fights next as well. So that's good. And the reason that all fans like Inoue or should like him is it is Thursday now. So it has been 4 days since he fought. And in those 4 days, he has already signed the contract to fight Akhmadiev. So MJ versus Inoue is happening. Already confirmed. That's why we like him. Mm-hmm. He's been doing this for years now as well, by the way. He fought TJ Donaghy and the next day signed the contract to fight up a weight class. That's the kind of, he's just the epitome of like what a fight fan wants. And he doesn't duck anyone.
I think, the only people that disrespect Inoue, are people that don't know who he is. And 100%. Pretend that they know who he is.
100%.
That's literally it. Like, if you disrespect Naoya Inoue in terms of what he's done and what he's currently doing in boxing and the work rate he's doing it at, I'm sorry, but you don't watch Inoue. You just join in on the comments. That's my opinion, because if you watch him and you see what he's doing in boxing, there's no way you can tell me he's not active, he doesn't fight, he doesn't do this, because you'll be wrong.
Yeah.
So my question to those fans who are watching and will see this reel that will go out is, do you really watch Inoue? Connor does. I'm sure a lot of people in the comments do, to be fair, because we've had a couple of guys who was talking about Inoue. Funny enough, I want to flag one comment that come up on TikTok that made me laugh. So we brought up the Inoue. Let me just get it up. So we brought up the Inoue about Inoue can't win with fans. Funnily enough, we was talking about this before.
Yeah.
NA 64553, a day before Inoue's fight in Vegas, America, said, on a level, tell Inoue to come America to fight, he'll probably lose. First of all, he was fighting on the Sunday in America.
Yeah.
Second of all, didn't lose. So back to Japan we go. Tokyo Dome. Off we go.
Yeah.
60,000. Thank you for the money, Bob. I'm off.
Yeah. Does anyone sell stadiums like him?
Joshua, Fury. Arguably, you could say Conor Benn and Eubank to an extent, but that's a fight.
Yeah, that's the fight, though, isn't it? Like, Conor Benn and Eubank Fury won't sell out a stadium next time they fight unless it's together. Canelo
in America. Yeah, you could say so. Who else we talking?
Just Tank. I guess Tank might. I don't know, but for somebody that's 100, I mean, we said this last time, but he has knocked out everyone for 5 years straight.
What about Junto Nakatani? Is he make headline cards in Tokyo?
Not to that extent. Not to that extent. He's getting there, but he's probably. I think Naoya has been shot up by he beat Nonito Donaire.
Yeah.
So beating Nonito twice, and the way he did it the first time was fight of the year. So their rematch had so much hype in Asia that when they fought the second time, Naoya knocks him out in the second round. I think everyone went, "Oh shit, this guy is elite." and now everyone just looks up to him. He's the king. He's absolutely the king. In terms of pound for pound, him and Usyk are the definition of pound for pound kings. Usyk's beating guys that are bigger than him. Like Fury was 40 pounds heavier, Usyk beat him. No, he's just working his way through all the weight divisions. I feel like there's a limit though. There's a limit for everyone, right?
There is, but I feel like Inoue's, what's he done? 5 already?
Yeah, he's done 5, yeah.
5 weight classes already. First of all, let's just mention that because we're discrediting. He has moved across 5 weight classes to fight. Yeah. He would then be moving up again potentially in January. You said they announced. Have they announced Nick Ball and Inoue for January?
No, sorry. So they are. He's only done 4. Only 4. He's done 4. 5 will be featherweight. He's fighting Akhmadiev in Saudi in September, and then they want Nick Ball in January, February, early next year.
So we're talking about potentially if he goes and beats Akhmadiev in September, and he beats Nick Ball in January. I don't want to hear no one say nothing about Inoue. I don't.
No.
Regardless if he wins or loses, I don't. He fights everyone. Like, you can't discredit what he's done. It's mental.
Yeah, I like the fact he cleans the division as well.
Yeah,
he could fight Nick Ball next, and realistically, is anyone on the planet going to say that he isn't the number 1 other than Eddie Hearn? No.
Yeah, it's mental.
So he's cleaned it out. Like, we can literally go through Super Bantam, the top guys. John Real Casimiro knocked him out. Sam Goodman was meant to fight him. Goodman pulled out. Marlon Tapales knocked him out. Akhmadiev fighting him next. The problem is he has put a load of these guys way further down. Cardenas knocked him out. Like, he's elite. Go on to bantamweight. Let's go on to bantamweight. Let's see who he fought there. There's a lot of new guys here, to be fair. Jesus. Okay, maybe this doesn't work anymore. He's put a lot of these guys into retirement, but I mean, Jason Maloney knocked him out. He's stupid. He's just ridiculous. The fact we're watching him live is insane.
Get your head out of the water, guys.
Yeah.
Respect to Inoue.
Yeah, but we already know what's next for him as well. So that's good. He's fighting in September. I think we're looking at an all. I mean, he's an all-timer already. He's Hall of Fame level already. But look, and the final thing to cover, which is very in comparison, I think this is going to be a better fight than pretty much everything we've spoke about. Is Wood Cacace or Cacace Wood?
Yes, I'm
this
very
weekend.
much looking forward to that fight.
Yeah,
was speaking to my friend who does media at Queensbury about him actually.
Oh.
He's been in the tussle with some big face-offs. He got in the middle of a couple of them, and I think he got caught in crossfire. But he's doing bits with Queensbury at the moment. And I was chatting with him, and he does all the social media for Queensbury, right? So
yeah,
we was talking about the Cacace. It's a massive fight. Yeah. Cacace Lee Wood.
What a fight! Cacace comes to fight. Lee Wood comes to. We know what Lee Wood does.
Yeah.
Lee Wood will put a game plan out the window after round 1 if he feels like he can have a war. Yeah. So it's a fans fight,
and we're going live for it as well.
We are. We're doing quite well. So we're doing 2 lives really on Saturday. So Cacace Wood, that's me and Paolo, and then I'm staying up because I'm amazing like that, and I'm doing the top rank card, Navarrete, the others that I can't even remember right now. But we're doing more. We're doing more. But the fight I'm excited for is Cacace Wood. I don't know who's going to win. Maybe Cacace based on just form. Like Cacace, it feels like he's a bit more. I don't know. Lee Wood hits like a tank. I don't really know. But we know that's going to be just war from the first belt. You've also got Liam Davis fighting again, first time since he lost. So that'll be interesting. Ezra Taylor, Sam Noakes, Chris Congo. And then it's a pretty typical Queensbury card. You've got about 100 fights, load of debuts, load of prospects, some of which we'll hear a lot about, some of which we'll never hear of again. So, be interesting to see. I think we'll probably start the stream from Sam Noakes. I don't think we'll cover the other stuff just because that would be about a 7-hour stream.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that will be on YouTube anyway. They won't start the live coverage till maybe Lewis Williams, I'm not sure. But look, we got loads of content coming out. We'll do an official prediction for Wood Cacace, but to be honest with you, I haven't got a clue. So I'm just going to say, Cacace, but I don't know. It's a close fight. Who you got?
I'm going to lean towards Cacace as well.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, look, we're doing the live stream on Saturday, so join us. We'll have a little promo go up tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about it to remind you. So join us, like I say. Like, subscribe, share. The Reels are doing really well. Actually, a good point. We wanted to thank you because 2025 we hit 100,000 or over 100,000 views for the year already.
On the Reels.
And given that January was a bit of a stinker from us, that kind of averages out around 25,000 a month. So that's kind of mental. So we obviously want to keep it going.
All the shorts that you guys have watched and commented on as a total to 100K, which is good. But we need the same support. Subscribe, share, follow us as well. Get the socials built up.
100%.
We've got so many big things we're doing, and I am going to keep saying it. But you know, we had a chat, me and Connor, and Connor's staying up for these American cards for you. I will be a part of some of them. Just not on Saturday because I've got to be somewhere Sunday and I need sleep. But I'm there for Cacace and Wood. And then moving forward as well, the channel's got big things coming. Like I said to you, what do you like? Darts, football. We're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing
everything.
So with the boxing show is always going to be every Thursday, 7:45 plus any live shows. But we're chucking in some darts.
Yeah.
Luke the Nuke. Is it Luke the Nuke? Yeah.
Luke the Nuke. Bunting Mental. Van Gerwen. Price. Everyone. But we've got all sorts. I think you should, I don't know. It really is a thank you, but also like Paolo says, we've got so much more coming. So I think right now we should set the goal of hitting 500,000 views. 1 million views, fuck it, by the end of the year.
On the shorts, yeah?
On everything.
Videos. On everything.
Everything combined. 1 million views. From now till the 1st of January.
We hit 1 million views on social media, I will get the R9. Like, if we hit 1 million views on the videos, I will get the R9 trim.
Oh, I'm going to push for this. Okay.
I'm going to get the R9 trim.
Sorted. We hit 1 million views. That's so 900K across how many months have we got?
I might lose my relationship, to be fair. I'm gonna go. Let's be realistic, but I'm gonna do something mad. Yeah, R9's mad. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you missed.
I will do. Do you know what? We hit 1 million. No. We need to sort this out now whilst we catch the momentum, Connor.
Yeah.
What shall I do if we hit 1 million views? If we hit 1 million views, you're gonna get 3 things from me. Yeah, I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna record a video. So we're gonna do 3 things. Yeah, the first one is in gym footage. DFC have got a heavyweight champion, Lee Cook. Yeah, I'm saying this now. I will go to the gym.
Oh Lord.
That he's training in. We're taking. I'm talking suit on punches. Yeah, that's the first one. Just taking punches to the abdominal. Yeah.
You're gonna get hit by a heavyweight.
Yes.
Okay. 1.
10 times. 1 million views. Yeah. Because Lee Cook hits hard.
Yeah.
And I might throw 5 in for Rion Wong as well. He trains in his gym. Yeah. That's the first one. One super cruiserweight, one heavyweight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or cruiserweight, heavyweight. The second thing I'm going to do for you guys is I'll do a skydive. I can't fly. I
You'll
fly,
do a
but I can't
skydive.
fly. I'm
Oh
afraid
my
of
God.
heights.
Okay.
I'll film it.
Okay.
But
Will
no, the third one though, Connor. No, because we need to do this.
the third one is decided by fans?
Decided by fans. You know what? The third one, if we get enough votes, R9 trim.
R9 trim. Oh my God. Okay. So to work, I've worked it out. It's about 125k views a month, every month till the end of the year. So it's a lot. I think it's doable. I'm gonna have to think about how we can.
Yeah, but R9 trim is if we hit 1 million on video views. Because the shorts, that can happen quick. Let's be honest.
Video views. Okay, that's different. All right.
No.
Okay.
That the R9 trim is the ultimate goal, but let's push that for the subscribers. How many subscribers?
Ooh. We need. I don't know. Subscribers is we
Somewhere
need
along
people
the
to
line,
subscribe.
If we do something mad, I'll dye my hair blonde. I'm being serious. Chris Brown, I'll dye my hair blonde.
You don't be like Chris Brown.
That's more realistic. You never dye my hair. It's crazy. I'll dye it. We'll figure something. I'm doing something stupid.
All right. We'll clarify some stuff, but we can.
Every time I'm saying a decision, I'm thinking how bad it is. I've just said that on stream. So it's I've made bad choices today for you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
please repay us.
Bleach blonde R9 trim. That's what I've heard.
We'll see in it, but I'll get either one.
Or both. Fair. If we get I don't know. Anyway, look, we got all sorts coming out. So, like I say, subscribe because we need the views and subscription because we need Paolo with bleach blonde R9 hair. So yeah, I think that's everything. But we got loads coming out. Join us on Saturday as well. It'll be good to have you. We had a lot of people come and talking to us last week. Loads of comments. It was really good actually. We had quite a lot of people just watching along with us, so it was good. So we got the same again this weekend. Join us. Yeah, decent. That is everything from me. Ronaldo, do you want to say anything?
Like I said to you, get the subscribers up, get the views up on the video, and I will get an R9 trim. But we need to be benefiting from this financially for me to do that because there's a lot of backlash I'll get for this one. So, more importantly, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, share the video. I've said it here first. 20,000 subscribers not in a year, but I'm saying 20,000 subscribers. If we hit near that mark, Connor, I'll do the online thing. I swear to you, I will. 10,000, I'll consider it. 5,000, I might consider it. Let's just get it pumping.
All right.
What do we call this one in crypto? Let's get this coin up. Let's get this coin.
Okay, it's a big goal. All right. Okay, but that's everything for today. Like I said, we'll see you on Saturday. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all the rest of it.